welcome back to my channel. My name is Sarah and this is B.fleye Beauty, and today we're going to continue with our skincare basics, and I wanted to talk to you guys about acids. What are they? Why do we even need an acid? When is it the best time to use them? What kinds are there? What's best for my skin? And so forth. This is going to be a pretty quick video because even though there are a ton of different acids for skincare, there are only a few that I think are really worth talking about at this time. I will mention a few others, but they're still in research and they're not widely used, etc. So what are they? Acids are basically exfoliators. That's like a very vague overall definition. We're gonna get into the nitty-gritty. There are a few categories, but it's an alternative way to exfoliate your skin. It's a chemical exfoliant rather than a physical exfoliant. Like, can we think back to the apricot scrub when we were young? That literally made little tears in our skin, and I still have a hard time not wanting to use some sort of physical exfoliation. You can still use it. You just have to be very careful of what that is. The apricot scrub had literal pumice stone in it. We should have not. When you think of using pumice stone on your face, you should be mortified. But that's what we did. So chemical exfoliation is, it can get a little bit deeper than just surface, but it is an exfoliator. So let's talk about the different categories of acids. You have AHAs, alpha hydroxy acid, BHAs, which is beta hydroxy acids, and PHAs, which is polyhydroxy acids. Had to look that one on the paper because that one's a little harder. So let's start with AHAs. These are my personal favorite because I'm a very oily person. I do have a little bit of sensitivity in my skin, but it depends on the day, it depends on the season, it depends on the product, and it depends on the time of day, honestly. Like, it's pretty rare that I'm sensitive, but as I've grown older, there are a few things that are more sensitizing to me. Alpha hydroxy acids are water soluble. They're great for surface exfoliation. So a great alternative to the physical, right? Because the physical is only on the outside and an AHA is mostly on the outside as well. It's to improve texture, tone, and signs of aging. I saw a massive difference in my skin when I started using acids and vitamin C, but we talked about that. Those two things really changed my skin. So you have a few versions of, well, more than a few, but you have glycolic acid. It's the strongest one. It's the one I love because I can handle it. It's from sugarcane. Then you have lactic acid. It's from milk. It's definitely more gentle, so if you have more sensitive skin or you have more dry skin, something with lactic acid is beautiful. And I will give, I'll put in the description box different product recs for each of these, but I will say the lactic acid, Good Genes from Sunday Riley is a great version of that. Mandelic acid, it's a larger molecule, good for sensitive skin. Then you have three more that aren't as popular, like they might be in a product, but they're more secondary. You're never, I don't want to say never, but like most of the acids you see are one of those top three in an AHA. You do have citric acid. It's derived from citrus, often used to adjust the pH. So that's what I mean by secondary. It's in there for a secondary reason, and it does exfoliate, but it's in there for something else. Malic acids from apples, it's weaker and it's often combined with others, like I said. And then tartaric acid from grapes, it stabilizes some formulas, which I think is awesome. Then you have BHAs. This one is great for acne. It's oil soluble and it penetrates into the pores. So if you use one of the most sought after ones, cult favorite, which is the I was going to say Natasha Denona. That is not even close. Paula's Choice, BHA 2%. That's one of the best on the market. There's a reason there's a cult following. It's great for acne prone and for oily skin. I personally use both kinds. I do an AHA at night, and I sometimes, depending on where my skin is, and I've talked about my skin a lot lately, probably in the last year, of how much it's changed. So I brought back in a BHA for the mornings, and so I'll talk about that at the end. But there's two main versions of a BHA, and that is salicylic acid, which is what is in the Paula's Choice BHA 2%. It's derived from willow bark, and I've seen willow bark in other things, so don't be afraid to actually read an ingredients list and see what's in there. Then you have this one I'm less familiar with. It's just a gentler BHA alternative. It's called betaine salicylate, I believe. I don't really see that being advertised as like, oh, come get this betaine salicylate. You know what I mean? They're just saying salicylic acid. So this could be in there, but it's nice to just look through the ingredient list. If it says it's a BHA and you see the betaine, wow, this is great look for me. Salicylate, it's probably going to be a little bit more gentle. Then you have polyhydroxy acids. That's the third one that's pretty popular. They're PHAs. These are larger molecules, gentler on the skin, hydrate while exfoliating. So if you can't take lactic acid, maybe a PHA could be better for you. And there are a few of these. I have not heard of any of these words, but I've heard of a PHA. So gluconolactone, lactobionic acid, and galactose. Wow, we are in space today. Yeah. So if you're super sensitive, that's the group you want to choose from. Okay, so this is the category I wanted to touch on very quickly, which is the ones that are emerging. And what's interesting is azelaic acid is becoming very popular. This is actually in my, I'll put a picture of it here because I keep forgetting to bring it in here because I keep it in the bathroom, but it's a blend, it's a retinol. It's a prescription retinol, but then it has azelaic acid. It's got, I forgot the other ingredients, but I had never heard of that until they put it in my product. Anyway, it's mildly exfoliating. It's also anti-inflammatory, so it's great for rosacea and acne, which I have a lot of redness. I have a lot of acne. My skin is changing, so I think that's a really great one for me to have. And it can be mixed with retinol because a lot of acids can't be. So that's also a cool thing, is that it can be mixed in with the retinol. And I'm gonna double check that. So if there's a mistake here, maybe I might be mixing up an acid. If that is incorrect, I'll put that here. Tranexamic acid. It's not an exfoliant per se, but sometimes combined with them for pigmentation. Because we talk about vitamin C being something to help your pigmentation and brighten and tone, but it is also a slight exfoliator. And that's interesting because some exfoliators are also good for pigmentation because it's sloughing off that dead skin and it's bringing something forward. So very interesting that these that are being researched now, because again, I talked about this actually in my Get Ready With Me. A scientist finds an ingredient that works for this one thing, right? Because they've been looking for a cure or a help or something for a skin-related issue, a disease, whatever. Then come to find out years on, as the years go by, that can also help with blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. So I feel like some of these acids down here are kind of like that, where they're initially for one thing, but then they find out they can be used for something else. So we have the azelaic acid, tranexamic acid, and enzymatic exfoliants. They're not acids, but similar effect. Papaya, pineapple. So you'll see that on some ingredients and on the front of some skincare bottles where it'll say the papaya and all of that. So most professionals do not recommend that you mix acids with tretinoin, mostly for over exfoliating, over irritation. I am using, I'll have to put the percent up here. I went up a few months ago, I would say like 4 to 6 months ago, and I'm still getting peeling. So I have to be very careful when I use my acids. you know your skin best and how it feels different the very next day and you're like, nope, this is not for me. Or waiting something out because you know that's part of the process. Or maybe you know that's part of the process, but you're not gonna live with that for 6 months. So everybody's skin is different. Everybody's tolerant level is different. I don't mind peeling here and there. I mean, I look hideous, but I no longer use, because I have such a high percentage of tretinoin, I no longer use any sort of acid at night. I've talked about my routine. I use it at night, but I alternate. So I go retinol one night. The next night I do one of the deeper exfoliators, the AHAs, the really high one. And then one night I do acne medication, which is like benzoyl peroxide and all of that. And I alternate those with one night off completely, where I'm just super moisturizing and trying to keep the peeling at bay. If you're gonna use a really strong exfoliant, highly recommend using it at night instead of in the morning, because there can be issues mixing acids with vitamin C. And vitamin C is best used in the morning. So if you wanna try an acid, take a break from your tretinoin or your retinol or whatever you're using, or just add it in every other night, every 3 nights, however your routine goes. Just don't use it the same night as you're using retinol tretinoin. I personally use more salicylic acid right now, and when I do it, I do sometimes use it in the morning, and then I take a really long break with the skin, and then I put on my vitamin C, but it's more of like a splash toner. It's not a thick serum, and it's not a heavy dose of salicylic acid. Personally, salicylic acid is not super harsh for me, so I could use it more often. I just don't want the peeling. I really love glycolic acid. If you have super oily skin, you can handle the glycolic acid. It will change your life. If you're more sensitive or more dry or more neutral and you can't stand the burning of glycolic acid, I would try the lactic acid. And then if you're just super sensitive, super dry, I would do a PHA. And just keep them to the nighttime for now until, here's the thing, anytime you introduce something new, you want to keep it as consistent as possible and be on a very strict routine so that you know what is affecting your skin, good or bad. If you try 5 new products at once, you're not going to be able to know what's irritating you, what's not, what's changing your skin, what's not. But this is the now version of our apricot scrub. We should not be doing that. I know Dermalogica has like a powdery, I forgot what it's called. It's like a powdery sandy. I don't want to say sandy because that sounds very scary, but it's a very soft powder that you add in with your cleanser, or it is a cleanser. You can add it in with water and it exfoliates the skin, but it's very gentle, but it is a physical exfoliant. If you're going to physically exfoliate your face that night, do not put an acid or tretinoin on top, especially if you're new to it. If this is, you've been doing this for 40 years, clearly do not listen to me. But this is for more like people that are learning, that are starting these new routines. You just want to be very careful with your skin barrier. You don't want to go overboard. You have to know your skin, and just know that my skin can take a lot. But I have come to the end of that where I am getting major peeling here. You can't really see it now, but like I actually did this to my face the other day and it was all skin. It was absolutely horrific. So we went through this journey in time on the internet where we were all exfoliating because we had never really we didn't understand what chemical exfoliation was, and we were very excited about it, and it's changing our skin in a good way. We just went overboard. So we got to dial it back a little bit. We got to protect our skin barrier, make sure that you're using a very good moisturizer. If you are super sensitive to this stuff, you can do a moisturizer first and then a glycolic acid serum on top. It helps buffer, just like if tretinoin is too much for you, even at the lowest possible dose, do your moisturizer first, let it dry, let it sit for a little bit, let it soak into the skin, and then put your treatment on top that could be drying. Anything that could be super drying, you can always put it on top of moisturizer, unless it's a toner, and that's weird, right? I'm not talking toners. Toners will always come right after washing. But if it's a serum or even like a glycolic moisturizer, you could put a different moisturizer on top first and then do that one. I personally hate exfoliating moisturizers. I don't like my exfoliation to be in a moisturizer because I feel like there's no way to get away from it. Like I've already done my moisturizing, you know? So I find that really weird. I know people love that. I don't. I like my exfoliation to either be in a toner that I can just tap on the skin, or maybe use a little cotton pad, reusable cotton pad, or a serum at night. And again, I switch it up. If my skin is peeling, I decide to just take a break from it that night. If my skin is a little irritated but it's not peeling, I might use moisturizer first and then I do my treatment. If my skin is oily AF, it's not peeling, it needs a freaking break from the disgustingness, then I'll do moisturizer last after I've packed on all the product that I need. But when I say all the product, just know it's a very simple process. Please reference nighttime, morning routines. These are the simplest routines you can get. You really don't need to add much else, to be honest. There's a lot out there, but the KISS phrase is so true. Keep it simple, stupid. Truly. Like, you do not need 15 steps. If you want 15 steps, go for it. But I will say it's hard to know with that many products what's irritating and what's actually giving you success and where you want your skin to be. So that's just a very quick overview about acids. I will link my old blog below. I used to write a lot, and I think I might get back into it. I don't know who still watches blogs. I'm not sure. But I love doing research on skincare, and like it's really funny because there's this group on Facebook that I absolutely hate, but I stay on it, and just in case I can get business from it in any capacity. And anytime I give advice in this way, it just makes me laugh because people are like, no, I need products. No, what are you doing? What are you using? Well, I can recommend a lot of things for people, but my skin could be the complete opposite of yours. Like, do some actual research. Honestly, I don't like to recommend ChatGPT because it uses so much water and it's so bad for the environment. But once in a while, it really can't. Like, I've actually put ingredient lists in there to compare, to see, is this really a dupe? Or look up an ingredient in Google and like, what does this really do? Like, don't be scared of stuff. Do your research. Do a little bit of time on your own and trusting certain people. I've given examples of like really trustworthy people on the internet that you can follow. And anyway, I think it's good to listen to professionals, but then also trust your skin and know if something is getting messed up, just cool it, right? Simple and easy is the best for your skin. It's the best for your time and schedule, and it's the best for your pocketbook. Who says pocketbook? Anyway, thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.